Nivi,
Hello.
great to meet you.
To meet you.
Thanks for stopping by here in our pop-up studio.
Yeah, no problem.
For those who have not had the pleasure of meeting you, tell us briefly who you are and what you do.
Sure. So I'm Nivi. I work at Wise, formerly TransferWise, and I look after the first user experience for personal customers and small businesses. So looking at a lot of things. So like, what do they like? What do they don't like? Making sure their first experience with Wise is easy. It's super important. 70% of our growth comes from word of mouth. So people recommending the product to other people. Okay. So it's really important that first impressions matter and they have like an easy way to do what they're here to do, which is like, money without borders is our mission. And
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Wise has, is well known in the market for a number of things. First, for that timer thing that shows you that in 3 seconds your money has reached somewhere else, but also the customer experience, and is one of the poster childs of what a fintech can actually achieve.
Yes.
Now, when you're now working in the ecosystem, what do you think that other financial institutions can learn from the journey that Wise has taken to where it is today?
First off, those two things really quickly, the speed really matters. It's one of the key pillars for Wise. People care about their money, seeing where it is and knowing that it's reached its destination. Yeah. And it's nice to be here in Lithuania because we actually partner with the central bank here for some of our instant payments in Europe.
Right.
So anyway, it was just cool fun fact of being here.
Yeah.
I think largely, I said this during my talk as well, customers really care about understanding what they're doing and understanding their needs. So some of the work recently I've been doing at Wise is sort of being a bit more targeted towards people's needs from different regions. So in the UK, our strategy is very much a bit more diversified, transfers plus other products.
Yeah.
But in the US, we're most competitive in transfers actually. Sending money abroad from the US is the best with Wise, and that's what we try to play it more. It also gives people a bit more understanding of, okay, this is my need and you get it from the very beginning. There's also other play, we'll do other localization stuff, the currencies you see are more pertinent to you. So in the US, you'll see USD as one of the top currencies we offer. Yeah. In the UK, it has to be pounds. And in Estonia, it'll be something else. Yeah. In Lithuania, it'll be something else. In Latvia, it'll be something else. But it's looking at what people are doing, understanding them, and then showing those things better. So I think it's understand your customer, talk to them, look at the data. Yeah. That's most of my day-to-day, and I think that's the key to building good products. All
right, and now something I find really interesting is that we keep hearing now that one of the biggest stocks in town is cross-border payments. Yeah. And it's instant cross-border payments. Yeah. And I always think wait, I've been using Wise for over 10 years and yes. This has been available. So why do you think that there's this big divide into what fintechs have been able to achieve and how the rest of the market has caught up with innovation?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of banks here, but the challenging bits about banks is they move a bit slower. I think they're highly regulated, but also the systems that they worked with have been around for a really long time, and it's really hard to break out of it. Yeah. So one of the inherent advantages as a young company you have is you're starting from scratch. Yep. So you can just pick up the best of the practices and start with your process being completely new. And you get to form newer relationships and redefine relationships with regulators and you kind of are at the forefront of redefining these things, and banks are a little bit kind of following up. So for example, HSBC just launched a competitor to Wise called Zing.
Okay, where in the UK?
In the UK, yeah. Okay. The way they did it actually is bring in a couple of people from Wise, a couple of people from Revolut, and mix it up to form a cocktail of employees, and then the app is new. So I think banks are still catching up, and that might consistently be the case. Yes. And it will happen even to Wise. There will be newer competitors to Wise as well. So I think it's an ever-evolving industry. Right. But typically, I think you want to be able to learn and change fast, and you want to understand how you can do that. So, there's multiple strategies to do that, but the idea is who can learn faster, who can change faster.
How interesting, and being a customer of Wise myself for a number of years, I can see how Wise have started with remittances, with cross-border payments, and then TransferWise, and then with cards, and then with bank accounts. Yep. So, what would you say that today is the refined core value proposition of Wise as a company?
Honestly, our values are still the same. We still believe in money without borders, and we want to be there. I think now we think of ourselves as, after talking to customers, we've learned that there's much more we can offer that we weren't really highlighting before.
Yeah.
So in addition to like transparent cross-border payments, we offer the card. We offer like local bank accounts wherever you go. So in your journey through your international life, Wise can be there with you. I think that is the key thing that we realize that Wise is doing. So if you're moving to a new country, I just moved to the UK, and my primary bank account in the UK was Wise, actually. Until recently, I had to get Barclays to do my tax refund and stuff.
Right.
But then also, after I did that, I realized Wise is still available actually for my tax to pay taxes. So that was also unnecessary. So now I just have my Barclays bank account with no money in it.
Right.
So I think it's more like what is the purposes that people use Wise for have expanded. And honestly, unlike Revolut, for Wise, it has been our customers who pulled us into that direction.
Right.
We are still learning, still adjusting. I think we've rebranded to Wise. We went from blue to green. So Wise is also constantly changing, and it's kind of fun to keep up with that. Yeah.
Now, fascinating. Now, one of the things that we've been talking about here today in the Fintech Day in Lithuania is about this Baltic innovation, and Wise being an Estonian company. We've actually spoken to several founders of other companies today that started their journey at Wise and that basically have taken all that know-how to build other companies. So what's your take about what's happening in the Baltics when it comes to Fintech innovation, and why should people look at the region as a powerhouse for Fintech? Yeah,
I think I spoke to a couple of people about this. So I'm based in London. The main difference I see between something like London FinTech Week and here, this conference now, is I think people are hungrier.
Yes.
And they're very eager.
Right.
It's the same in London, but I think it comes with like an added pressure of competition. Whereas here, it comes from maybe, I don't know, pressure, but like expectations of like very small group of people looking out for you and supporting you. So in general, I think it's a welcoming environment for support, both from a regulatory perspective, like the fact that the president of the country was here today, the finance minister being here today, I think it's like huge. So generally, it's a welcoming environment, both from a regulatory perspective, but also community is much more tight-knit. Right. People know each other, people follow up with each other, is the vibe I get. In Estonia, I think, obviously, like Wise founders are from there, and the way we've been able to integrate ourselves with the local communities there, like huge investment in education, and Estonia is just like technically also like quite, I don't know, I think there's a local, I try not to mention Estonia too much because there's like competition between the Baltic countries, but I generally think that people want to push more, and there's less, because I think fintech is like in some ways also new. There's less like historical knowledge, so you have the even more added incentive to move faster or ability to move faster because you don't have like historical knowledge that much, but you can still learn from like fintechs who've been around for a bit. So it's pretty cool. I think some of the younger companies are doing some groundbreaking stuff. That's really great insights. Just one last question. We're here, it's the afternoon of the Fintech Day. We've had an entire day of insights being shared on stage. What has been the key takeaway for you from the Fintech Day? I'm actually, I think I'm surprised by how much focus there is on sustainability from every perspective. So like two ways to think about it. One is like sustainable as a company. How do you keep doing what you're doing, keep solving the problem you're here to do, but on the longer term, and not burn with the wrong use cases at the beginning. So you have to be very targeted about what use case you're solving, what customer, but at the same time, it also applies to your efforts to help the wider community, whether that be environment and sustainability, social impact, governance. I think you have to be very targeted there too. And to do that in a targeted, sustainable way, you need to understand what customers you're serving, but also what kind of social issues they maybe care about, because it is a competitive advantage at the end of the day. It sets you apart. So I think it just brought the whole thing together for me. I was like, it matters. Like knowing your customers, knowing people you're serving in every way possible matters for your sustainable growth too. So that was my biggest takeaway, I think, from today. Well, that's a perfect way to close the interview. Thank you so much, Nivi, for stepping by, and enjoy the rest of the day. Cool. Cheers. Thank you.